checking out Kikanbo on Latrobe Street in Melbourne to see what the hype was all about. Now, I got here on Wednesday evening at about 6:50 p.m. and the line was that long it was split into two halfway down the street. So be prepared to wait in line for over an hour to get into this place. At this point, I was seriously contemplating leaving because I was starving. An hour and 10 minutes later, the place was still really packed. They managed to find a table for two, but the setting was really tiny. It does have cool decor though. You've got the masks and a bit of the history up on the wall that you can read, and you can see the chefs cooking. Now, there wasn't a menu available online, so I've done a screen share here with you so you can see what is currently on the menu. Ramen start from about $19.80 and upwards, and there's about 6 out of 8 ramens which are a miso-based broth, and then there's one that is beef and one that is soy. There is a few drink options and a few entrees, but I found that the selection of entrees was pretty limited, so that was a little disappointing. In general, this application is pretty easy to use and you can add on your extras. The ramens, you can see kind of what's in them, and you can also pick your spices as well, which I thought was pretty neat, and as well as your extras, which I thought were pretty good at a reasonable price also. So I decided to go with the karashibi miso ramen. I had to grab an extra egg and I ordered some extra noodles, grabbed a meat lover ramen with some extra noodles. We also shared some karage. It had a good flavour to it, nice crusted outside, but for $4 a piece of chicken, it was severely overpriced and I wouldn't be getting this again. On the other hand, we grabbed a 5-piece gyoza for $8, and I can tell you that this was cooked quite nicely. The flavours were there and it was nice and fresh and yummy on the inside. Now, I wish I had known with my ramen that it was very noodle heavy. I wouldn't have bought extra noodles if I had known this. The broth was quite nice and fresh, being a miso base, but I was really disappointed with the protein. The pork slice was just so small that I actually had to buy another one, so it just made everything in this dish altogether really disproportionate. On the other hand, the meat lovers had really huge pieces of pork and they were cooked to perfection, really juicy and fall apart. It was just melt in your mouth moment. Overall, the food tasted quite nice, but it wasn't a blow my mind experience, so I'm really not in a rush to go back here. So I'm giving this place a solid 3.75 out of 5 stars.